Well, Alma, it's absolutely amazing to have you here. Thank you so much for taking the time to being on the podcast, on the Entrepreneurial Success Podcast. I'm really looking forward to seeing or to hearing really what it is that you want to share with us. So why don't you just go ahead, introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Yes, my name is Alma Bradford, and I have a boutique social media and content marketing agency where I help small businesses grow an audience on social media. I also do online training for female entrepreneurs, such as freelancers, social media managers, virtual assistants, digital marketers, and I teach them how to grow this and scale their business through outsourcing, as well as how to grow an audience as well online. So
That's
yes, in a nutshell. So I have a training and a coaching business as well.
That's amazing. That's fantastic. And actually, just from our previous conversations, I can see that you've got such a huge influence. And just going on your website and seeing how many other women you've already helped and the feedback you've had from there is really fantastic. So it's, for me personally, it's always nice seeing that there are other women like yourself who's there making a difference, making an impact in the world, and you're just being able to do what you do, which, yeah, it's just heartwarming, really.
Yeah.
Can you just tell me, why are you so passionate at what you do? Because I find so many other female entrepreneurs, and not just female entrepreneurs, but any entrepreneur, there's always a passion behind what we're doing. So for you in particular, what is your drive? What is it that you're so passionate about?
Yeah, so for me, I'm a very creative person, and that's really what has attracted me to entrepreneurship. I've always been creative since I was a little girl. I went to like a art school when I was very, very young, and I learned theater. I learned visual art,
Oh my gosh.
and dance. When I was like in elementary school, it was a really beautiful school, but my mom took me out really early for some reason. Something happened, so I had to leave the school. And ever since then, that left such an impression on me, and I've always been very, very creative. So, working in a corporate setting, I worked in a corporate setting, several large corporations where I was a IT project manager. And so my job working in corporate was to manage website design projects, things like that, app
Mm.
development, mobile apps. And it just wasn't for me, like I am a very creative person, and working for other people, especially in a corporate setting, my creativity is not it doesn't flourish, right? It can't flourish in that environment. So that's why I'm passionate about being an entrepreneur and also helping other women. And the other thing is that, I will get more into it as we talk in this interview, but at one point I was a single mom. I had gotten divorced, and I was working this job, coming home stressed out, tired, not really having time for my family, for my son.
Mm.
And that really motivated me to start my own business. And I started my business when I was a single mom, during one of the worst times to ever start a business, and we'll talk about that. And,
Yeah.
but that right there was the beginning of my journey. And then, growing my agency as a social media strategist and a digital marketer, I help small businesses with. I have to be creative, so I
Mm.
put on these social media campaigns. It requires a large amount, a big amount of creativity to do that, right? As a digital marketer, you are creating stories, you're creating messages.
Mm.
So that was really something that I enjoyed. And then I really am passionate about showing other women, especially freelancers, like, social media managers, website designers, women who are doing done for you services, how to scale that business so that they're not doing everything themselves. And that's kind of where I am now. So I have several courses. I have a group coaching program where I actually show freelance women how to do that. So yeah,
That's
that's what.
amazing. No, it's really fantastic. How long have you been doing this, though? How long have you been running your own business, if I may ask?
Oh, it's been a long time. So I actually started my agency about 2009, like 10 years.
Wow. Of course, of
And
course.
within the last 3 years, when I started doing the training and the coaching side of my business, so that brought in additional revenue into my
Yeah.
business.
Yeah. So in 2009, when you started, do you want to talk us a little bit through, because you're saying you started through that recession area, and I think that must have been pretty scary at that
No,
point.
and this is a really good thing for us to talk about now in
Yeah,
2020.
absolutely. By all means, go for it.
Yeah, I'm very passionate about that because so I started my business. I was out of work during the last economic recession. Um, And that was like one of the worst, times to start a business. Like people were losing their jobs. I wasn't
Yeah.
working. People were actually getting their homes foreclosed on. I mean, this was in the United States. I don't know, where you were, if you experienced that as well. I think it was like a global
It
impact.
was a global thing. It went everywhere.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, and so I I was at home with my son, and I was like, I'm going to use this opportunity to find a way to create my own income stream. Now, here's the crazy thing. I had just read this book by Tim Ferriss called The 4 Hour Work Week. Okay.
Yes, I've heard it.
That book inspired me because I was reading it while I was working. I had a job, and I was like, I got to start my own business. I actually, when I was working, I was actually trying different types of businesses. I was like experimenting. Then when I was out of work, I was like, okay, now I got to take this serious, and I need to do something that's very practical that does not require a lot of upfront investment, right?
Mm.
So, but that book really inspired me to understand how I could do outsourcing and how I can grow a business that could work, that could actually run without me constantly being there. That was the first thing that made me aware that this was possible.
Yeah.
Because in that book, The 4 Hour Work Week, he talks about outsourcing. He talks about creating automation, using automation, setting your business up so that it can run without you and you can have more freedom. That was one of the first books that talked about that. So that stuck in my mind so heavily. So when I was out of work and I was like, okay, I'm gonna just go forward and start looking and trying. I want to create my own income stream. Why don't I just do that now? I went and I started networking with people in my local community, and I also used freelancer platforms like Elance, right?
Mm.
Elance. Well, it's called Upwork now, but it was called Elance, and
That's
and
right.
I actually used like a few of them. There were like a few other ones, and I started promoting what I did. When I first started out, I started offering blog writing services because I have a background in writing. I love writing. I've always been a storyteller. So I started doing blog writing, like SEO and blog writing for small businesses because at that time, a lot of people were doing SEO. Social
Mm.
media
Mm.
just it was growing, but it wasn't like it is this big behemoth now, right? So I was doing a lot of SEO and content reading. And then the clients that I was working with, they wanted me to take that content that I was creating and to share it on social media, right? So that's how I got into social media management, social media marketing. And so I started growing that way, and it just took off from there. And I didn't
Amazing.
go back to work. I was able to stay home with my son and just do it full time.
And I think that's so inspiring as well, because so many other women that I sometimes speak to who wants to start their own business, they overcomplicate things so much for themselves, and they feel that they've got to do it all. They've got to do everything that everybody else is doing, instead of just, taking your zone of genius almost and just starting with that, starting small. Like you said, you just started, writing blogs for people because that was a creative part of you, as you say, and you just moved it on from there. So it's really inspiring to hear how other women are starting their businesses and how that has evolved and grown throughout the years. So it's really fascinating to hear as well from your point of view. Um, I think we touched a little bit on what motivated you to start your business. But apart from just being creative, and obviously for everybody who wants to hear, the book is from Tim Ferriss, The 4 Hour Work Week. It's really a fantastic book. I recommend it as well, as much as Alma is. But apart from just having the motivation to start your own business, at that point when you started, how did you feel emotionally? Did you feel that you have to make this work, or did you feel, oh my gosh, I'm scared to do this? How did you feel emotionally at that point when you started?
Well, there were moments of fear.
Mm.
That was a very extreme situation. I actually teach my students to just keep your job and do it part time.
Yeah.
Growing, because that's a lot. But I was very, very, very motivated to make it work. Lots
Mm.
of prayer. I mean, I pray. I believe in God. So that also helps me get through it. My faith. Um, but I can tell you one of the biggest mistakes that I made when I first started is I was doing all the blog writing. I was doing all the social media. And this is something that happened to me and I learned early on is that I got burnt out.
Yeah.
Okay? So I was excited to get clients. I was so like, wow, I actually have a business now. But after a couple of months, I found myself working all these hours, like, 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week, just on my laptop, on my computer all the time, never going out, never enjoying life. It actually affected me emotionally. It was very unhealthy, and I was eating unhealthy, right? And it affected me. It affected a lot. So right there, just going back to that book of, with Tim Ferriss, I realized I had to really build a team and outsource a large part of the work.
Yeah.
And so that's how I got into outsourcing, and I started finding people on different freelancer platforms, and just getting other people to do it, because I couldn't do all of it. I had to outsource and I had to get other people. So I built up a team, and one of the things I learned during that time that I use now in my business is that so this is just my this is my personal view on this.
Of course.
I never want to have a business that relies 100% on me, because if something happens to me, then I lose income. Like if I can't be there to do the work, to talk to the clients, to do the client work, then I lose money. And I never want to be in that situation, because there was a time then where I was going through some personal things and I just wasn't able to deliver. And I saw how I was risking my income. Like the client relationship was, at risk. Luckily, I hired a really good content manager, and she was like a school teacher, and she just wanted some extra work, and like she took over, like helped me out. She was really good. But that really opened my eyes to, like, as I'm growing my business, whatever type of revenue stream I create in my business, it has to be something that will run and produce revenue with or without me. I think one of the biggest mistakes people make is that especially I think solopreneurs, is they try to do it themselves.
Absolutely.
Right? So now what I do is I actually train women who are doing done-for-you services, service providers, freelancers, people who do similar work to me. I train them and I teach them how to do project management. I teach them how to outsource. And it does require a mindset, a different type of mindset, a mindset shift, I guess, right? On how you view yourself and how you view your business. So you have to view your business like it's a separate entity from you. Not like you're the one who makes all the money. Like it actually lives and breathes on its own.
Yeah.
So you have to make that shift. And I've been studying 7-figure, 8-figure billionaire companies, right? And how the founders founded their company. And they invest in their company and they don't pay themselves hardly nothing. And they just they keep investing and investing and investing until that company grows and grows and grows until the behemoth. Some of these large companies you have today started with someone working out of a garage or working in a rented apartment with their family, right?
Very true, yes.
They would take the money from their business and reinvest it in hiring people and advertising, whatever it is, so the business can continue scaling. And one of the biggest mistakes that I find a lot of the people that I help is that they think, they don't view their business as a long-term asset. It's just, how do I make money right now?
Yeah.
Of course, it's important to make sure you can make money now to take care of your bills, but you can't look at every single piece of revenue that you get that it has to be all for you. Like, you have to think completely different. That's one of the lessons that I learned. Outsourcing and treating my business like it's a company, like it's an entity.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so true what you're saying. It's a complete mind shift. And I can completely associate it with myself, because when I started my business, I felt that I needed to do everything myself. And it's up until that point where you go through that mind shift where you realize, oh my gosh, I need to outsource. I can't do everything. My business needs to run on its own. You can't go and take holiday knowing that nothing is going to happen. So it's absolutely true what you're saying, and I completely agree with that. And for anybody who's listening, if you are just starting out your business, or if you're already in that state where you feel you're getting burned out, even contact Alma if you have to, because it's so important for you to go through that mind shift where you've got to realize that you have to start outsourcing, you have to start just making better use of time, really. Sorry, go on, Alma, if you have anything to add to that, by all means.
No, I mean, the thing is like, there's so many different types of investments you need to make in your business. One of them is investing in people, and then there's other things. We'll talk about that, but go ahead and ask the first question.
Yeah, no, that's actually what I wanted to ask you. So just from your experience in your business, what other lessons have you learned along the way that you want to expand on, and that everybody can just learn from, because that's the whole idea at the end of the day. So they don't have to make the same mistakes.
Exactly. Yeah. So you have on the one hand, you have to build a team as you're getting more clients, right? As you're growing, you're getting more clients, customers, depending on your business, whether you are a done-for-you service provider, a consultant, a coach, right? You're getting clients in the door, but you also have to delegate. You got to outsource. So that's an investment. The second thing that I learned, which has helped me scale a lot more in recent years, is investing in growing my own audience. So I, as a digital marketer, social media marketer, I get paid to build audiences for my clients, right? But I neglected mine, right? So I didn't really grow my Instagram account. I didn't grow my, Facebook. I didn't grow my own audience. So within the last 3 years, I've been investing in growing my email list, growing my audience, my followers heavily. And that has really increased my revenue tremendously.
Amazing.
And I think a lot of times we don't do that. That's one of the mistakes that people make. They don't invest in building an audience, because here's the thing. When you are a freelancer, service provider type of person, or even if you're offering, it could be anything. Honestly, it could be any type of business, selling e-commerce, whatever it is. A lot of times, if you don't build an audience, you're going to have to go out there and find people and try to convince them. You always have to go out there and look for people and try to set up meetings and discovery calls, right? But when you build an audience of people who follow you and you put out consistent content, right? Over time, those people get to know, like, and trust you. Yeah. And so it becomes easier for you to sell your products and services to them. And you don't have to be chasing clients and looking for people. People will come to you.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's really important. So I think a lot of people, it depends on what your goals are. So if your goal is to grow to multiple six figures, you need to invest in the audience. Yeah. That's what really matters. If that's your goal. But if your goal is not to do that, then okay, you don't have to. But if you have a revenue goal, you need to build an audience. And I think stuff like this, where you have a podcast, you're building an audience of people who listen to your podcast. So a podcast is a great example of one way to build your audience, right?
Exactly, yes.
Facebook group, having a Facebook group. You can have a Facebook group for people who listen to your podcast, like in your example. Growing your followers on Instagram. A lot of people don't realize how powerful Instagram is. And Instagram is one of those platforms where you can actually grow your audience organically without having to pay for ads at all.
Yes, very true.
It's one of the last ones, because with Facebook, when you have a Facebook page, you have to pretty much pay for ads to get people to follow you on your page. Yeah. There are some workarounds, but mainly it's kind of like you got to pay a little bit of money, right? And then, so that's one way. So Instagram is a great way to build an organic audience without having to take out ads. But then don't be afraid of, of paying for Facebook ads or Instagram ads. And then there's other platforms. There's Pinterest. Pinterest is a great place to get organic traffic, especially if your target audience are female women, right? Because women, depending on what you sell. So you can build an audience organically on Pinterest. You can also take out Pinterest ads. So you just have to decide whether or not you want to invest time or money in building your audience. But it makes a huge, huge difference. And creating content, I think a lot of people get overwhelmed and afraid. They think that they have to do all this content and it just feels like it's overwhelming. But I don't feel like that at all, because I guess I'm just a natural storyteller. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, and I can't emphasize it enough. I mean, one of the things that I teach over and over again is build your email list. Oh my gosh, if I say it again, I'll say it many, many more times in the future. You have to build your email list, because if you don't build your audience, like you say, come, months down the line, you're not going to be able to sell anything, because you haven't given yourself that time to start building that relationship with your potential customers. And I find that so many times people get overwhelmed thinking, but I've got to start a blog, I've got to do a podcast, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. Where I tell them just to hit the brake a little bit and decide on one way in order to build a relationship with your audience, and particularly if you're starting out. So many people try and do all of the social media platforms instead of just trying to concentrate either on Instagram, or either doing Facebook, or either getting a Facebook group together. Either, they just got to choose one and just start running with it, and then they can start doing all the other platforms and use all the other platforms. But that's my personal opinion with all of the women that I've coached in the past and that I've spoken to, where they get overwhelmed because they feel they've got to do it all from the beginning. What would be your take on that? What is the kind of advice that you would like to give for women who would want to try and do everything from the get-go?
Yeah, so what you have to do is you need to, so it feels overwhelming because there's multiple platforms, there's all these different content formats you can use, right? But what you have to think about is think of it from a very simplistic view, okay? And literally map this out, right? Number one, you want to only pick, when you're starting out, you want to pick out, not that you're starting your business, but even if you have a business and you just don't have an audience, right? If you're trying to build something from scratch, you want to just focus on 1 to 2 platforms. Okay? And then on top of that, you need to think about who is your target audience, and which platform would you be able to reach them at with the most impact. Where are they? Which platform are they hanging out on? Are they on Instagram? Are they more apt to be on LinkedIn? Or are they more apt to listen to a podcast? Are they mainly on Pinterest? You have to think about that. So think about who your target audience is and where you would be most likely to find them. So that's one thing. After you do that, okay, you have to think about which platform will give me the biggest impact. And then you also have to think about which platform do you like spending time on? Because you have to like this, right? You can't be, if you don't like Facebook, then you don't have to use Facebook. I personally don't really like Facebook that much. I love to use Facebook for ads. I don't want to be there all the time, but I really, really love Instagram. I love Instagram. I spend hours on it sometimes, and I have to train myself to get off of it. Because Instagram is a very intimate platform. It's like you're having an intimate conversation with people. I get more people sending me private messages on Instagram than Facebook, right? And when they send you a message, they are sending you messages telling you how they love the content, how they're like the messages you get on Instagram are about the content that you're sharing with them.
Yeah.
You get this great feedback. And then what's really great now is that we have Instagram stories.
Yes.
And people are spending more time on Instagram stories than they are on the feed, right? So if you just went on did a story, that's all you need to do really, on a consistent basis, right?
Yeah.
And there's just so much about that platform, and people are spending hours and hours on Instagram. So in my case, I prefer Instagram because I like it. It's easy to create video content on Instagram. But you have to choose what you feel that you like the most. And if you like Facebook, if you want to have a Facebook group, or you like doing Facebook live streaming, or if you don't like that at all and you just want to focus on a podcast, if you have a podcast, you need to promote your episodes on social media regardless.
Yeah.
But the most powerful way to connect with your audience on social media is either through video or through audio.
Absolutely.
So regardless if you choose a podcast method or option, or if you choose video, that's the best type of content that you can use to connect with ideal clients.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you, which is why I'm so excited, because this podcast, we're physically doing a video, but we're also putting it on iTunes. So it's available in audio as well. So it will basically hit both those target markets where people who are more visual like seeing who's actually on the podcast. So that's why I like doing both entities, where the video is available on YouTube, but then the podcast physically, the audio is available on iTunes or Spotify. And it's interesting that you're saying for you, Instagram is one of the platforms that you love most. Personally, for me, I haven't been that active on Instagram. I more had my Facebook groups, and then I also had my podcast or my blog. And then it's only recently, I would say in the last 6 months, where I've noted my Instagram feed is becoming more and more powerful as well. So I've zoned in a little bit more on my Instagram, and it's not growing as fast as I would have liked it to. But now that I'm zoning in on that more, I can see a phenomenal growth. So it's really interesting that you're saying, for your point of view, that Instagram is so powerful. And I'm starting to experience that now as well, the more I'm concentrating on it. If I may ask, what is your take on the IGTV? Have you started using IGTV yourself, and what is your feedback on that?
Yeah, so IGTV is a great thing to use and use on your Instagram feed and as part of your Instagram marketing strategy. But Instagram stories are more powerful than IGTV.
Amazing.
Right now, excuse me. So IGTV is good, but it takes a lot more effort to like upload it and format the video. The easiest way to create video on Instagram is to just do an Instagram story and just do a video of you talking.
That's amazing. That's fantastic.
You take your phone and you just start, hey, you know, and it's really, really quick. When you do a story, the clips are really short. Just get your point across really fast. And I use captions in my Instagram stories.
Very important.
And then you can mix that in with text, image. You can have images, pictures of yourself, and text. I like to share motivational quotes as well. I also share value. I just teach little things on my Instagram story. I'll just literally just write out my thoughts about something.
Yeah.
It's very, very cool. And the thing about Instagram stories, you can edit everything on your phone. Like, it's just so, you know? So I think Instagram stories are actually more powerful than IGTV. In fact, it's been documented that people are spending more time watching stories than the feed, and even IGTV. They're spending time watching stories.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, it's actually, you know, something to think about, because the thing about Instagram versus Facebook is that Instagram's user base is growing faster than Facebook's is.
That's very true, actually.
The users are growing faster on Instagram, and that's for a number of reasons. Number one, Facebook I love Facebook, like I said, I'm not hating on it, but it's a noisy platform. Real noisy. It's all these, every time you go on the feed, you see everything your friends like, you have to see everything they like, and you're just like, I don't want to know about all that.
Yeah.
Right? You go on Instagram, you only see the things that you really want to see.
Yeah.
And then it's quieter, in my opinion. The other thing about Instagram versus Facebook is that with Instagram, you have more the millennial, generation, right? Millennial population. So more younger people are on Instagram. So this is the platform of the future, right?
Yeah.
They're joining Facebook. They're on Instagram. And so depending on your audience, Instagram is really good for people between the ages of 25 to around 40.
Yeah.
Other people in their 40s and 50s are slowly adapting into Instagram, and they will be on that platform. Just like Facebook, right? When it first started, it was just college kids.
Correct, yes.
And over time, now you have, your grandmas on it. So I see that happening with Instagram, where you're going to have more people start adapting to it. It's going to take some time. But this right now, we're right at that we're right at this time frame. I don't want to say it's the peak, like what part of the peak it is. If we're at the peak or we're right about to hit we're going to go up some plateau. But we are in the stage, especially with Instagram stories, it's like, how do I say? You know how everyone's doing webinars and it's just oversaturated?
Yes, very true.
People with Instagram, it's like when webinars first came out. That's what Instagram stories is right now.
Yes. No, it's a very good analogy to use, because I think we can associate with that.
Yeah, everybody's doing so many webinars, right? Instagram stories is like a fresh thing now, and people like it. So it's and it's so intimate. You can connect I mean, I have people that watch my stories and they're like, oh, okay, when is your program going to launch? Because I'm ready to get on the wait list.
Yes, yes.
Because I go on that, I'm on my stories almost every single day, right? And video and audio are the most powerful, the most powerful pieces of content you can put out to connect with your ideal clients. And the more they see your face, right? If they see you multiple times, right? It's been proven in studies that the more people see a picture of someone, the more they start to like them.
Yeah.
And they have, I think it's called like 12 points of content and marketing, where you see something 12 times and then it's like now you're more apt to buy from that brand, right? The same thing when you do your podcast or you do a Facebook Live or Instagram story, and you're connecting, you're letting people know who you are through your voice or through your face and your voice at the same time. The more you do that, the easier it is to close the sale on the people watching you. So you can do a call to action like, hey, you like to jump on a discovery call. We can talk about my new program that came out, whether you're doing done-for-you services or coaching or whatever it is, right? Now, someone who's watched 10 of your videos, when they get on the discovery call, they are way more warmed up to buy from you than someone who only saw you one time.
Absolutely. And it's at that point where they almost like say to you, okay, where do I sign up? You have that conversation and they can't wait to get to the point where they need to sign up.
They're engaged with you, right?
Absolutely.
A warm lead or I would say a hot lead. They're very warm and hot. They're ready to do it, right? Versus trying to go up to random people and like send a private message to someone that doesn't know you, trying to sell your services to them.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. So from your point of view, apart from one of the lessons that you learned, coming back to building your audience, and I mean, this was just a phenomenal conversation about building your audience, which is so important for any business. Is there anything else that you feel you wanted to share? Any other things that you felt big lessons that you learned throughout your business, really, that you wanted to share with everyone?
Well, the third thing I would say is that if you have a vision and a goal for growing your business to a certain point, especially when you have a specific revenue number in mind,
yes,
I have to tell you that, this is only for people who want to make a certain amount of money. Maybe you want to make multiple 6 figures, 7 figures. If you want to do that, it is going to take so much dedication on your part. And you have to be so committed to the dream and vision that you have for yourself, your business, and your life to really get to that goal. That's another lesson I've learned. You have to be almost kind of obsessed with it. And it sounds crazy. I've been listening to this guy, Tom Bilyeu. I don't know if you've heard of him.
No, I haven't, but I'll make a note of it.
Great impact. He has a YouTube channel called Impact Theory. And he gave a speech and he talked about you have to be obsessed with the idea, your business, whatever it is that your goal is. You have to be obsessed because it's not easy. You're not going to just get there. You have to put in. And the thing is, it's not about how many hours you spend. It's the emotional.
Absolutely.
The hardest part about growing your business is the emotional the feelings that you have, the emotions you experience. That's where the difficulty is. It's not in I have to spend 10 hours on this or that. That to me, because I don't really spend that much time working on my business, but it does require energy that I have to exert to create content, to think about what I'm going to write in a blog post, to think about what I'm going to say in a webinar or a live stream or an Instagram story. It requires energy, right? And what I'm learning is that you have to be really driven, but you have to manage your energy.
Yes.
You have to manage your energy because and you have to, if you have a big goal where you want to get to a certain point, that is extra important, knowing how to manage your energy towards the right thing. And you have to hyper focus.
Yes.
Focus. And what I would tell you is, if you're trying to be a CEO of your business, right, that energy has to be protected. It really has to be protected. I don't know how to explain. Yeah. It has to be protected because you're making decisions for your business and your team, and you have to make creative decisions. So let me give you an example of ways to protect your energy, okay?
Please, by all means, I'm really interested.
So you're probably like, what does she mean by protect your energy? This is what I mean. It's like on a weekly basis, right? I work from home a lot of times. I do have a co-working space. But when I'm working from home, I like starting my day at a certain time, right? I want to have a routine. So you want to wake up if you want to work out or make your breakfast, right? And then, okay, at this time, at 9 o'clock, I'm going to get on my laptop, or 10 o'clock, whatever your time is. But set a schedule in the morning to put you in the right mindset so you can be productive for the rest of the day. And then not only that, but let me tell you something that really throws off my energy. If I have to, in the middle of the day, drive my car to go run an errand, that throws energy.
Gosh, that is so true.
Like
Now that you're saying it makes absolute sense. I feel exactly the same.
it throws me off. Like, I can't get any work done. Like, my mind. So that's what I mean when I say protect your energy, because your mind, to focus, like your mind is running, right? And it's hard to do task switching. So one type of mental task to another mental task can throw a lot of things off.
Yes.
Your mind has to warm up to the new thing, and then it's just like, so that's what I mean. And when you're trying to scale your business, you want to create a schedule and a ritual every week, every day, as far as what you're going to focus on. So I take Fridays off. I typically take Fridays off. I try to work from Monday through Thursday, but sometimes I do a little bit of work on the weekend. Like I might write a blog post. The type of work I do, like on my off days, it's very creative it's like creative work. So it'll be like, well, I like to blog, so blogging is natural for me. Something like that, or just getting ideas, doing some research. But real like phone calls and meetings have to happen from Monday to Thursday. I don't have any meetings. Typically, I don't have meetings on Friday. It's very, very rare. If I do, it has to be before 11 a.m. because after that, I take the whole afternoon off.
Amazing. Good for you.
Yeah, you gotta have these. You have to have a good schedule and pattern for how you want to deliver the work and actually get things done, right? And it has a lot to do with energy. Like, yeah. I don't know how else to say it. And the thing is like, people use calendars and planners and stuff like that, which is great, and you should. I have a calendar that I try to plan things out. So, but I guess this is like number 4, right? Lesson number 4. I think I'm going.
Please, by all means, don't mind at all.
Well, that's the other part. So another lesson, I guess, a part of this is planning. Okay, so I guess this all kind of relates because you're a lot of people want to be able to plan things out, right? The thing about planning is that your plans will change.
Yeah.
Okay, so you make a plan today and something comes up that you didn't know about, and now you're going to change your plans. So you want to be okay with constantly changing the plan, and you have to be okay with that. And if you're like the type of person who's rigid, it's going to be harder for you to grow because technology is constantly changing. Instagram changes, Facebook changes, the economy could change. You don't know, so you have to be okay with changing plans. So I recommend that people do a 90-day plan. So you plan out your year in quarters, and every 90 days you change it. It could, like, you cannot plan 12 months ahead of time. You can have an idea of what you think, okay, I want to do this from the first quarter to the second quarter. But once you get there, you're going to see that things have changed.
Yes.
So you have to be okay with redoing the plan. And planning is about prioritizing.
Yeah.
So you're just prioritizing what's most important because that's what you're going to get done. Whatever's priority number 1 is what you're going to get done first. You can reshuffle your priorities. So you're going to be reshuffling your priorities every 90 days. Now, when you make a 90-day plan, week by week, right, you could be changing the details of how, like, your 90-day plan is really your goal of what you want to focus on. It's not a plan like, these are the things I'm going to do for the whole 90 days. It's just like, the goal for this period is that I want to accomplish X, Y, Z. The details of how you're going to accomplish that is something you would plan out week by week by week.
Yes.
And I use a method in my business, even when I was working in corporate for project management. It's called Scrum. And Scrum is a method that people use to plan out and prioritize tasks, and they use it for teams of people especially small teams.
Yes.
Teams of like 5 people working on a project. So as a small business owner, Scrum is a great thing to use if you just have a small team working for you. But you can even use it for yourself just to plan things out. And with Scrum, what we do is we have a sprint. Okay, so we say, okay, we have a 90-day goal, but throughout the 90 days, we're going to focus our work and try to accomplish, some smaller tasks and break that up into small tasks. And we're gonna choose a few, 90 days. That's a lot, right? So you may have 100 things you want to do, or maybe there's 100 things you have to do to get to that goal, right? So what you do is week by week, you only choose like 5 of those things. And you create a sprint where you're just going to focus on the 5 things you need to do to accomplish a very small mini goal.
Yes.
So you have a big 90-day goal, but you also have weekly or a bi-weekly mini goals.
Mini goals. I agree.
And that's going to help you accomplish the larger goal.
Yeah.
So like I said, I don't believe in 12-month plans because it's hard. Even like when I was a management consultant and we had to work with executives, they would try to make like a 12-month plan, and we would tell them like, you can't, because especially the tech world, like in tech,
things change.
It's constantly changing. Technology changing. There could be problems that come up when you try to create apps that you don't know about when you first started. And that's always that struggle between the executives and the developers, right?
Yeah.
Develop apps. So it's the same thing in business. So that's the other lesson that I'd like to share.
No, that's amazing. Oh my gosh, we're getting so much information from you. Thank you so, so much. For me personally, I'm just learning, just listening to you. I'm learning so much as well. Going back from planning your goals and how you're saying it, that is one thing that I always teach my students as well. And I've got a fantastic goal planner that I give it to them for free. And then, basically breaking it up from 90 days, breaking it up into bite-sized chunks, really. And that makes it more actionable so they can reach the mini goals that helps them accomplish that big 90-day goal. So it's very true what you're saying. I've experienced it myself and it works for me as well. And just hearing it coming from you, that it's working for you. I mean, if it's working for us, it should be working for everybody. It's only the fact that you need to apply it. It doesn't help you just thinking about it, but you physically need to go out there and do it.
Yeah.
And my motto is nothing will happen unless you make it happen. So it's entirely up to you. If you want to achieve that goal, do it. Just, break it up and make it easier, actionable.
The other thing too is one thing I learned as a management consultant and project manager was that done is better than perfect.
Okay? Oh gosh, yeah.
You don't want to try to a lot of women, especially female entrepreneurs, they just spend hours, days, and weeks planning and planning and planning and never doing anything.
Yeah.
Because they're paralyzed by perfectionism.
Yes, very true.
So when you break up these goals into like little mini sprint goals, you're able to get something done, even if it's not perfect. And I had to tell myself this recently because I have an online course I'm trying to update with new content. And I was like, I experienced the same thing where I was like, oh, I can't do it. It's not perfect. I don't have everything. And it's like, you know what? I kept telling myself, done is better than perfect. So use Scrum like you've been doing all these years. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell myself, use the Scrum method, Alma. Like use the Scrum method. Done is better. So basically, the way we do it in Scrum is that you do the first version, right? But you keep iterating and you keep improving it over and over. So I just went and did like 4 lessons. But I'm going to come back and refine that again. I'm going to make it better. But I'm going to do it in different time periods so that I just continue improving and improving and improving it.
Exactly.
Every time I make an update on the content, it gets better.
Yeah.
But the first version isn't the best, and that's okay. You create a website for the first time, it's not going to be your best website, right? When you're trying to start a business and you're like, or let's say you have a business, but you want to do like a different type of business now. And now you have to create a new website. Just put out version 1.0. And then 2 months later, you can enhance it again with version 2.0. That's how people build apps, right? The iPhone has different versions. It's coming up with new versions. And as a business owner, when you create any type of website or anything, think about you're on different versions of whatever it is that you're creating.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you. I mean, from my own experience, my first website, oh my gosh, thinking about it now, it was horrendous. But you know what? I managed to get clients through that website. And even now, the website that I've got at the moment, yes, it's not perfect. Yes, it's not my ideal website that I visualize to have, but it is something that's working for me. It is a space where I can at least get my content out, and I'm getting customers through that. So and I know it's going to be a continuous growth. It's going to be a continuous development in the future even. And because I'm open-minded to that, I don't let perfection stop me. And it's so true that you're saying that as well, because perfectionism is really one of the biggest things that are holding people back from just progressing or getting anything done. So I completely agree with you.
Um, and the thing is that I see this a lot with people who are just getting started.
Mm.
I think it's even worse for that. Now, here's the crazy thing. When I first started my business, I didn't have a website. So I was making money. I didn't have a website.
Mm.
I think for the first 3 months, I didn't have a website. 3, 4 months, yeah. But I was making
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, no, you don't need a website to get started. I mean, the other day I was reading statistically, they're saying there's about 380 websites being created every single day internationally. And I'm sure that figure must have gone up now because that was about a month ago that I saw that. But I mean, it's crazy to think how many people feel that they need to have a website to get started in business when that's not really the case. There are so many other ways for you to start your own business even without a website. And I mean, yours is a very good example of how you started using your services and started making money through that without having a website.
Yeah, I didn't have a website. I even have someone in my program. I have an online course where I teach you how to create your own marketing agency.
Mm,
And one of my students, she grew her business to like $12,000 per month, and
amazing.
she doesn't have a website.
That's amazing. That's
She
fantastic.
doesn't have a website at all. I don't even know if she has one now.
Mm,
She said she was working on it.
yeah. Oh, that's fantastic.
So now I'm not saying that you shouldn't create a website. You should definitely create a website, but you can't. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Mm, yeah, completely agree. Oh my gosh, this is so helpful. Alma, thank you. This is absolutely amazing. Is there anything else that you wanted to add to this podcast? Anything else that you wanted to tell the listeners? Is anything else you would like to expand on from what we've just discussed today?
I think the main thing to take away is just that, as you're going through your business journey, there are so many different facets of growing your own business, and treating your business like a company is going to
Mm,
allow you to take vacations, allow you to have time off, and really have a well balanced life.
mm,
So there's a lot of things that go into that. There is outsourcing, there's growing an audience, working on your marketing and your sales, and then there's working on you and organizing your weeks and your days, right? And protecting your energy. So
yes.
remember, your energy has to be protected because your energy is what makes you money. Your mind,
Yes.
your mental energy, your emotional energy, right? So that is something that is, you have to take that into consideration as you are growing your business, because your emotions, like, things that can affect your emotions will affect your productivity.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just protect that and work on that and be aware of that. And it's okay to have down days or down months. It's okay. But do that, take it this, we have so many tools to help you. You can hire someone to help you if you're not feeling well, physically or emotionally, right? Because
Yes.
people have, some people get depressed, and that's okay. Um, you can still have a business.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, and we have tools, we have resources available that we've never had before, right? Technology and being able to hire people from all over the world.
Mm,
So think of your business holistically. Look at the big picture on how you want to run and build it, so that you can actually create a company that can run without you if you need to
yeah.
take vacation. Of course, you don't want to leave for a year and come back. You have to, you can take 2 weeks off and come back and it's still there. You're still making money,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's the goal, and that's what I believe that we as female entrepreneurs need to be focusing on.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. It is so, so true. Alma, where can everybody get a hold of you? I mean, we'll put your website in the show notes as well. So for everybody that's listening, the website, Alma's website, will be on the show notes. And in particular, your course, because you talk a lot about your course as well. Do you want to tell everybody a little bit about your course and where they can get hold of you?
Yeah. So pretty much I have a course now called Launch Your Online Agency, which shows you how to create a social media, digital marketing, or even a virtual assistant agency. So you can, a lot of the people that join my course are done for you service providers who provide marketing services. So like that includes social media managers, website designers, branding consultants, virtual assistants, online business managers, graphic designers, people who are in the business of helping their clients with marketing, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's, like I said, multiple types of services you can offer. And that course shows you how to get sales. It shows you how to outsource. It shows you how to promote your services. So it shows you how to manage your clients, how to manage multiple clients, how to be a CEO of your business. Because
Absolutely.
a lot of freelancers, especially social media managers, virtual assistants, they think they have to be a one-woman show, right?
Mm.
I focus a lot on women, a lot, because I find that women don't have access to that type of training, right?
Mm.
A lot of men happily, take over the CEO role. They're okay with outsourcing. They're okay with doing certain things. And I know this because I've worked with a lot of men when I was working in IT. And I know it's a big difference for female entrepreneurs. So my program is there to encourage and support women to become leaders and CEOs of their business, and to teach them the skills to become the natural leaders that we are. Because as mothers, as women, we are leaders, right?
Yeah.
We're doing project management in our homes.
Yes.
Right? We can use those skills for our business too. So that's what this program actually teaches you how to do.
That's
So,
amazing.
So it's called Launch Your Online Agency, and then you can learn more about that and more about what I offer. I have other courses as well about marketing and growing your business. You can find all that on almabradford.com. And also, if you want to download some free resources on marketing and outsourcing, you can go to almabradford.com/free. And on that page, I have a bunch of different free resources to help you.
Perfect. Amazing. And like I said, we'll put all of those links underneath in the show notes below this video. So by all means, go and have a look. And just get in contact with Alma. I mean, Alma, it's been absolutely fascinating. I love doing these podcast interviews, and I just love having you here and hearing what it is that you have to say. It's been so inspiring for me as well, because I've learned some things as well. And I think that's what's so great, because we are both women in business. We're both running our own companies, but yet every single day we learn something new. And that's what I love. That's what I love about being in business as well. Being open-minded and listening to what other people have to say and learn from their experiences. So thank you so, so much. Is there anything that you'd like to add? Or do you feel that that's all it in a whole? You need a glass of water now.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I've been learning as well from you. So thank you.
Oh, bless you. Oh, well, thank you so much, Alma. I wish you all of the best. And like I said, for everybody that's listening, please go to Alma's website, go and see what she has to offer. I mean, she's been phenomenal. She does amazing work. And even just for me, listening or reading some of the reviews that she has on her website, I might just become one of your new customers. Oh, well, bless you. Thank you, Alma. Thank you so much. And enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll keep in contact.